The stars looked different tonight. Dr. Alex Carter noticed it first through the large telescope at his research station in Montana. Something was moving out there, far beyond where any human ship had ever traveled. The energy readings on his computer screen showed patterns that made his heart race. Alex was not like other scientists. While his colleagues talked loudly about their discoveries and rushed to publish papers, he preferred to watch and listen. His small research facility sat alone on a hill, miles from the nearest town. Most people forgot it even existed. That was exactly how Alex liked it. His computer beeped softly. The energy signatures were getting stronger. Whatever was coming toward Earth was big, very big. Alex pushed his glasses up his nose and leaned closer to the screen. The numbers told a story that made his stomach twist with worry. Still here, Alex? Lisa Murphy walked into the lab carrying 2 cups of coffee. She was his research assistant and one of the few people who understood his quiet ways. It's past midnight. Look at this, Alex said, pointing to the screen. Something's coming. Multiple objects moving faster than anything we've ever seen. Lisa set down the coffee and studied the data. Could be meteors? No, these are under control. See how they move in formation? That's not natural. Alex highlighted several moving dots on his screen. I count at least 200 objects, all heading straight for us. The next morning brought chaos to every government building on Earth. Military leaders shouted into phones. Politicians held emergency meetings. News reporters spoke in worried voices about possible threats from space. But Alex stayed in his lab, quietly gathering more information. His phone rang constantly. Officials from NASA, the Pentagon, and universities around the world wanted to know what he had found. Alex answered their questions with simple facts, never guessing what the objects might be. While everyone else panicked, he just watched and learned. Commander Vexitar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, the Void Crusher. His yellow eyes gleamed as he looked at the small blue planet ahead. Earth was pretty, but its people were weak. He had conquered 47 worlds before this one. Each victory had been easier than the last. How many ships do the humans have? Vexitar asked his second-in-command, a smaller reptilian creature named Kess. Our scouts report less than 1,000 small vessels. Most cannot even leave their planet's atmosphere. Their weapons are primitive chemical explosives and simple metal projectiles. Vexitar laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the bridge. Pathetic. We will give them one day to surrender. If they refuse, we will show them what real power looks like. The alien fleet appeared in Earth's sky without warning. 200 massive ships, each one larger than the biggest human city. They blocked out the sun in some places and cast shadows across entire continents. People everywhere looked up in fear and wonder. Alex watched the ships arrive through his telescope. Up close, they were even more impressive than his instruments had suggested. The technology was far beyond anything humans had ever built. Energy. Shields shimmered around each vessel like soap bubbles made of light. The ships moved without any visible engines, bending space around them like rubber sheets. Alex, you need to see the news, Lisa called from across the lab. She had turned on the television and every channel showed the same thing. The alien commander was speaking to the entire world. Vexitar's image filled screens everywhere. He was tall and covered in dark green scales. His voice was deep and threatening. People of Earth, I am Commander Vexitar of the Galactic Dominion Alliance. Your planet is now under our control. You have 48 hours to surrender completely. If you resist, we will destroy your cities one by one until you learn to obey. The message ended, leaving the world in stunned silence. What do we do now? Lisa asked, her voice shaking. Alex turned away from the television and back to his computer. We learn everything we can about them. They're transmitting constantly. Their ships are talking to each other, sharing information. If we listen carefully, we might understand how their technology works. Alex, did you hear what he said? They have weapons that can destroy entire cities. What can we possibly do against that? I don't know yet, Alex admitted. But every technology has rules. Every system has patterns. Nothing is truly impossible to understand if you study it long enough. While world leaders held emergency meetings and generals prepared for war, Alex did what he always did. He watched and listened. His equipment recorded every signal the alien ships transmitted. His computer analyzed every energy pattern they produced. Hour after hour, Alex gathered data that no one else thought to collect. The alien signals were complex but not random. There were patterns hidden in the noise, frequencies that repeated at regular intervals. Alex had spent his whole career studying quantum physics and deep space communication. He recognized the signs of advanced technology, but he also saw something else. Something that made him think the aliens might not be as invincible as they appeared. "Lisa, look at this," Alex said, pointing to a graph on his screen. "Their ships aren't just communicating with radio waves. They're connected through quantum entanglement. Every vessel in their fleet shares information instantly." "That's incredible technology," Lisa said. "Yes, but it's also a risk. If all their ships are connected, then they all depend on the same quantum frequency to function. It's like having all your electronics plugged into the same power source. Very efficient, but also very vulnerable." Lisa didn't understand the technical details, but she knew Alex well enough to recognize when he was onto something important. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking that maybe being connected isn't always a strength. Sometimes it can be a weakness, too." Alex pulled up another screen full of numbers and calculations. "I need to run some tests. There's something about their quantum signatures that doesn't look right." As the first day of the alien ultimatum passed, most humans prepared for the end of their world. But in a small research station in Montana, a quiet scientist worked through the night, searching for answers that everyone else thought were impossible to find. Alex Carter had always believed that the best solutions came from patient observation and careful thinking, not from panic and fear. The aliens had made one crucial mistake. They assumed that the loudest voices represented humanity's greatest minds. They never bothered to notice the quiet human who was listening to everything they said and learning all their secrets. The second day brought demonstrations of alien power that left humanity stunned and helpless. Commander Vextar wanted the humans to understand exactly how outmatched they were. He chose a small, uninhabited island in the Pacific Ocean as his target. "Watch and learn," Vextar announced to the world. His voice reached every television, radio, and computer on Earth. "This is what happens to those who think they can resist the Dominion Alliance." A single beam of purple energy lanced, down from the smallest ship in the alien fleet. The island, which had existed for millions of years, simply vanished. Where solid rock had stood moments before, nothing remained but boiling seawater. The demonstration lasted less than 10 seconds. General Kate Sullivan watched the display from her command center deep beneath the Pentagon. She had 40 years of military experience, but nothing had prepared her for this level of destructive power. Her best weapons looked like toys compared to what the aliens could do. "Ma'am, we have reports from every military base around the world," said Colonel Jake Peterson. "All conventional attacks have failed completely. Our missiles can't penetrate their shields. Our fighters can't even get close before their engines shut down." "What about nuclear weapons?" General Sullivan asked, though she already knew the answer. 3 nations have tried. The warheads detonated harmlessly against their energy barriers. The aliens didn't even seem to notice. General Sullivan stared at the tactical display showing the alien fleet positions. Each red dot represented a ship larger than an aircraft carrier, armed with weapons that could erase entire cities. 200 red dots hung over Earth like a death sentence. "Get me the president," she said quietly. "We need to discuss surrender terms." Secretary of Defense Ryan Brooks sat across from 3 alien representatives in a hastily arranged meeting room at the United Nations building in New York. The aliens had agreed to negotiations, but their attitude made it clear they considered it a waste of time. The lead negotiator was a creature that looked like a giant insect crossed with a machine. Its voice came through a translator device that made every word sound cold and mechanical. "Your species is primitive. Your technology is laughable. Why do you persist in believing you have choices?" "We're willing to discuss terms," Secretary Brooks said carefully. "Perhaps we can find a solution that benefits both our peoples." The alien's mechanical laugh filled the room. You have nothing we want except your surrender. Your planet will provide resources. Your people will provide labor. This is not a negotiation. This is us explaining your new reality. Brooks tried to maintain diplomatic composure. Our scientists have made remarkable advances. We have knowledge that might be valuable to you. Surely there's room for cooperation rather than conquest. Your science? The alien gestured dismissively. We have studied your primitive achievements. Chemical rockets that barely escape your gravity well. Computer systems that process information slower than our children's toys. Energy sources that pollute your own environment. You have nothing to teach us. The meeting ended with the aliens reaffirming their ultimatum. Complete surrender by the end of the day, or major cities would begin disappearing one by one. While world leaders struggled with impossible choices, Alex Carter continued his work in the Montana Research Station. He had not slept in 36 hours, but his mind was sharper than ever. The alien transmissions were becoming clearer with each passing hour. Alex, you need to rest, Lisa said, bringing him another cup of coffee. The government has set up evacuation centers. Maybe we should... No, Alex interrupted gently. I'm close to something. Look at these patterns. He showed her a series of waveforms on his computer screen. Every ship in their fleet broadcasts on the same quantum frequency. It's like they're all singing the same song. Is that important? Very important. In physics, when multiple objects vibrate at the same frequency, they can create resonance. Like when an opera singer hits the exact right note and shatters a wine glass. The glass doesn't break because the sound is loud. It breaks because the frequency matches the natural vibration of the crystal. Lisa looked at the incomprehensible data on Alex's screen. Are you saying their ships are like wine glasses? I'm saying everything has a natural frequency. Even their incredibly advanced technology. The problem is finding that exact frequency and figuring out how to produce it. Alex rubbed his tired eyes. Their quantum communication system might be their greatest strength, but it could also be their biggest weakness. How? If I can disrupt their quantum frequency, it won't just affect one ship. Because they're all connected, the disruption will spread through their entire fleet. It would be like unplugging every device in a house by cutting the main power line. Alex pulled up another screen showing a three-dimensional model of quantum wave interactions. I've been working on a quantum resonance device for deep space communication. With some modifications, it might be able to generate the right frequency to interfere with their systems. Might? The mathematics are incredibly complex. I need to calculate the exact quantum field fluctuations across multiple interconnected systems. One mistake and nothing happens, but if I get it right... Alex trailed off, lost in thought. Commander Vextar stood on his bridge, growing impatient with human stubbornness. His species had conquered the galaxy through superior technology and overwhelming force. These soft, weak humans should have surrendered immediately when they saw the demonstration of alien power. Commander, we're receiving multiple transmission requests from human governments, Kess reported. They want to discuss surrender terms. Finally, Vextar growled. Tell them we will accept nothing less than complete and unconditional surrender. Their military forces will be disbanded. Their leaders will step down. Their people will work for the good of the Dominion Alliance. What about their scientists and engineers? Some of them might be useful. Vextar laughed harshly. Useful? Their best minds still think chemical combustion is an acceptable propulsion system. Their computers are so primitive they can't even process simple quantum calculations. No, Kess. These humans have nothing to offer except their labor. As the day progressed, more human governments announced their intention to surrender. The few military forces that still resisted were quickly destroyed by precise strikes from orbit. It seemed that humanity's fate was sealed. But in his small laboratory, Alex Carter worked with the focused intensity of someone who had found hope where everyone else saw only despair. His quantum resonance device was nearly complete. The calculations were finished. The frequency generator was calibrated. Are you sure this will work? Lisa asked as she helped Alex make final adjustments to the device. No. Alex admitted honestly, but I'm sure that doing nothing guarantees our defeat. Sometimes the only way to win an impossible fight is to change the rules of the game. The alien ultimatum would expire in 6 hours. Most of humanity prepared for the end of their freedom, but one quiet scientist, prepared to test whether the most advanced technology in the galaxy might have a fatal flaw that no one had ever bothered to look for. The final hour arrived with most of Earth's governments announcing their surrender. President Martinez addressed the world from the White House, her voice heavy with defeat. After careful consideration and consultation with military experts, worldwide we have concluded that resistance is futile. To save lives, we will comply with the alien demands. Commander Vexitar received the surrender notifications with satisfaction. Another world conquered without significant losses to his fleet. The humans had proven even weaker than expected. Now came the easy part, demonstrating the consequences of any future resistance. Target the human city called New York, Vexitar ordered. 8 million inhabitants should provide an adequate example of our power. Commander, they have surrendered. Is destroying a major population center necessary? Fear is the foundation of control, Kess. These humans need to understand that their old world is gone forever. Once we eliminate New York, the remaining populations will be properly motivated to serve the Dominion Alliance. The massive alien dreadnought positioned itself directly above Manhattan. Its main weapon began charging, creating a brilliant purple glow visible even in daylight. People throughout the city looked up at their approaching doom, many too shocked to even run. In Montana, Alex Carter made his final adjustments to the quantum resonance device. The machine looked nothing like a weapon. It resembled a large radio, antenna connected to several computer servers and a modest power supply. The entire apparatus could have fit in a garage. Alex, the news is saying they're about to destroy New York, Lisa said, her voice tight with fear. Are you ready? As ready as I can be. Alex's hands moved quickly across his keyboard, entering the final frequency calculations. Remember, this isn't really a weapon. I'm just sending out a specific radio signal. If I'm wrong about their technology, nothing will happen. And if you're right, if I'm right, their own advanced systems will tear their ships apart. Alex looked up from his computer. Either way, we'll know in the next few minutes. Alex had spent 2 days listening to every signal the alien fleet transmitted. Their technology was far beyond human understanding, but it still followed the basic laws of physics. Every quantum system had natural resonant frequencies. Every interconnected network had potential cascade failure points. The aliens had built their ships to be perfect. Every system integrated seamlessly with every other system. Information flowed instantly between vessels through quantum entanglement. Their power sources were interconnected for maximum efficiency. It was brilliant engineering. It was also incredibly vulnerable to exactly the right kind of interference. Lisa, start recording everything. If this works, people need to understand what happened. Alex placed his hand on the activation switch. Above New York, the alien weapon reached full charge. In a few seconds, millions of people would die, and human civilization would enter a dark age of slavery and oppression. For humanity, Alex whispered, and pressed the switch. The quantum resonance device began transmitting. The power output was tiny, barely enough to run a household microwave oven, but the frequency was perfect, calculated to match the exact quantum signature that held the alien fleet together. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The alien weapon continued charging above New York. People continued fleeing through the streets below. Alex stared at his instruments, wondering if his calculations had been wrong. Then Kess noticed something odd. Commander, we're receiving strange interference on our quantum channels. From where? Vexitar demanded. Unknown. It appears to be coming from the planet's surface, but the power levels are negligible, barely worth mentioning. Vexitar dismissed the report with a wave of his clawed hand. Continue charging the primary weapon. We fire in 30 seconds. But the negligible interference was spreading through the alien fleet's quantum network like a virus through a computer system. Alex's signal was weak, but it was also perfectly tuned to disrupt the quantum entanglement that connected every alien ship to every other alien ship. The first sign of trouble was a slight vibration in the hull of the Void Crusher. Vextar felt it through his feet, a tremor so small he almost ignored it. Then the bridge lights flickered. Kess, what's happening? I don't know, Commander. We're reading system fluctuations across multiple ships. The quantum resonance is becoming unstable. The vibration grew stronger. Throughout the alien fleet, similar problems began appearing simultaneously. Energy shields flickered and wavered. Propulsion systems experienced random surges. Computer networks began reporting cascading errors. Find the source of that interference and eliminate it, Vextar roared. But it was too late. Alex's quantum signal had found the exact frequency that made the alien technology resonate with destructive force. Like a tuning fork struck in perfect harmony, every ship in the fleet began vibrating at its natural breaking frequency. Captain Tony Rivera was piloting a small Earth defense fighter when the alien ships began their death dance. He had volunteered for what everyone assumed was a suicide mission, planning to ram his fighter into the alien weapon array above New York. Now he watched in amazement as the massive dreadnought began tearing itself apart. Control, are you seeing this? Rivera radioed. The alien ships they're destroying themselves. Confirmed, Tony. We're reading massive system failures across their entire fleet. What the hell is causing this? Rivera watched as sections of alien hull plating peeled away like flower petals. Energy conduits exploded in chains of brilliant sparks. The ship that moments before had been preparing to destroy New York was now screaming through space as its own technology ripped it to pieces. In his laboratory, Alex monitored the cascade effect with quiet satisfaction. His calculations had been correct. The alien fleet's greatest strength, their interconnected quantum network, had become their ultimate weakness. Alex, look at the news feeds. Lisa pointed to her computer screen, which showed satellite footage of the alien fleet. Every ship was experiencing catastrophic system failures. The vessels that had seemed invincible minutes before now tumbled out of control, their hulls cracking and their energy shields collapsing. It's working, Alex said simply. Their quantum entanglement is amplifying the resonance effect across their entire network. The more advanced their systems, the more catastrophic the failure. How long will it take? Not long. Quantum cascade failures happen at the speed of light. Once it starts, there's no way to stop it. Above Earth, 200 alien warships experienced synchronized destruction. Their own perfect technology, designed to be flawless and interconnected, became the instrument of their annihilation. The quiet human's gentle radio signal spread through their quantum network like the exact note needed to shatter the galaxy's most advanced crystal. The destruction spread through the alien fleet like wildfire through dry grass. What began as minor vibrations in the hull of the Void Crusher quickly became a catastrophic chain reaction that no amount of advanced technology could stop. Commander, Vextar stumbled as his flagship shook violently. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the bridge while his crew struggled to understand what was happening. Report, he roared over the chaos. Quantum core destabilization in progress. Kess shouted. Back. The resonance cascade is affecting all primary systems. I'm reading similar failures across the entire fleet. How is that possible? Our technology is perfect. That's exactly the problem, Commander. Kess worked frantically at his control station as sparks erupted from overloaded circuits. Our ships are too connected. The interference signal is using our quantum network against us. Every ship is amplifying the effect and sending it to every other ship. Vextar watched his tactical display with growing horror. Red warning lights appeared next to every vessel in his armada. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were now spinning helplessly through space as their own systems destroyed them from within. The first casualties were the smaller escort vessels. Their quantum cores, designed for maximum efficiency, overloaded quickly. Brilliant explosions lit up Earth's sky as ships the size of city blocks tore themselves apart. The crews barely had time to scream before their vessels became clouds of expanding debris. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to the escape pods, Vextar ordered, but his words were lost in another violent tremor that threw half his crew to the floor. On Earth, General Sullivan watched the unfolding destruction. From her command center, military satellites provided clear images of the alien fleet's death throes. The massive ships that had seemed unstoppable hours before now tumbled through space like broken toys. General, we're receiving emergency transmissions from multiple alien vessels, reported Colonel Peterson. They appear to be distress calls. Any surrender offers? No, ma'am. Most of the transmissions are too damaged to translate. But the ones we can understand seem to be warning other alien forces to stay away from our solar system. General Sullivan permitted herself a small smile. Whatever was happening to the alien fleet, it had turned their certain victory into complete disaster in a matter of minutes. Captain Tony Rivera had the best view of the destruction. His small fighter orbited just outside the expanding debris field that had once been an invincible armada. The largest alien ship, the massive dreadnought that had been preparing to destroy New York, was breaking apart in slow motion. "This is incredible," Rivera reported to ground control. "The big ship is splitting down the middle. I can see internal explosions spreading through the hull like dominoes falling over. Whatever's causing this isn't just shutting down their systems, it's making their own technology destroy itself." Rivera watched as sections of alien hull plating, each piece larger than a football stadium, peeled away and spun off into space. Energy conduits erupted in chains of brilliant blue fire that raced through the ship's interior like lightning bolts. The vessel's quantum engines, designed to bend space-time itself, now created random gravitational anomalies that crushed entire sections of the ship. "Control, I'm reading massive energy surges from the alien fleet. You might want to warn people about possible electromagnetic interference. The energy releases were indeed affecting Earth's electronic systems. Radio stations experienced brief static bursts. Satellite communications flickered intermittently. But compared to the devastation raining down on the alien fleet, these were minor inconveniences." In Montana, Alex Carter monitored the cascade effect with scientific fascination. His instruments tracked the quantum resonance as it spread through the alien network, amplifying itself with each ship it reached. "The effect is self-sustaining now," Alex explained to Lisa as they watched the data streams. "I can actually turn off our transmitter. The alien's own quantum entanglement is maintaining the destructive frequency. So they're destroying themselves?" "Exactly. Their technology is so advanced and so interconnected that they can't isolate the damaged systems. Every ship that tries to help another ship just spreads the cascade failure further." Lisa watched, the satellite feeds showing alien vessels breaking apart in Earth's orbit. "Alex, do you realize what you've done? You've saved the entire world." "I haven't done anything except send out a radio signal," Alex replied quietly. "They destroyed themselves with their own technology. I just found the right frequency to get the process started." The largest ships took longer to succumb to the cascade effect, but their destruction was even more spectacular. The alien dreadnoughts had been built to last for centuries and survive any conventional attack. Now their own quantum cores were turning them into massive bombs. Commander Vexitar realized his flagship was doomed when the artificial gravity failed and the bridge crew began floating in zero gravity. Emergency power flickered on and off while the ship's computer systems reported cascading failures in every department. "All hands abandon ship," Vexitar ordered. "This is not a drill. Evacuate immediately." Kess struggled with the escape pod controls as another explosion shook the dying vessel. "Commander, the quantum cascade is affecting our escape systems too. Half the pods won't launch." "Then we use the ones that will." Vexitar grabbed his second-in-command and dragged him toward the nearest functioning escape pod. "Move!" They barely made it. The escape pod launched just as a massive internal explosion tore through the Void Crusher's engine section. Vexitar watched through the pod's tiny window as his flagship, the pride of the Dominion Alliance fleet, broke into 3 large sections that slowly drifted apart. "Kess, send a message to High Command. Tell them to avoid this system at all costs." "What? Should I tell them about the humans?" Vexitar looked back at the blue planet that had just destroyed the most powerful fleet in known space. "Tell them we were wrong. Tell them the humans are not what they appear to be. Tell them their quiet ones are the most dangerous of all." Within an hour, The entire alien fleet had been reduced to scattered debris orbiting Earth. Of the 200 mighty warships that had arrived to conquer humanity, not one remained intact. A few thousand aliens survived in escape pods, but they were refugees now, not conquerors. The aftermath was chaotic but hopeful. Rescue ships from every nation launched to collect the surviving aliens, who were treated as prisoners of war rather than executed. Earth's leaders wanted to understand where the aliens came from and whether more invasion fleets might follow. Alex Carter finally turned off his quantum resonance device and sat back in his chair. He had not slept in 3 days, but his work was finished. The quiet signal from his small Montana laboratory had accomplished what all of Earth's military forces could not. "What happens now?" Lisa asked. "Now we clean up the debris, study their technology, and hope we never have to do this again," Alex replied. "But first, I think I'll take that nap you've been suggesting." The man who had saved humanity from slavery went to sleep, while the world celebrated its impossible victory. Outside his window, pieces of alien starships streaked across the sky like falling stars, marking the end of Earth's first and last day as a conquered world. 3 hours after the cascade began, the destruction was complete. Where 200 mighty warships had once hung in Earth's orbit like mechanical planets, only debris remained. The largest pieces were no bigger than school buses, tumbling slowly through space as gravity pulled them toward Earth's atmosphere. Commander Vextar floated in his escape pod, watching the remains of his fleet burn up as bright streaks across Earth's sky. His pod's communication system crackled to life with desperate calls from other survivors scattered throughout the solar system. "Commander Vexitar, this is Captain Zells from the Starbreaker. My ship is gone. Most of my crew is dead. How did this happen? Commander, this is the cargo ship Windcutter. We lost our escort vessels 20 minutes ago. The humans have a weapon we never anticipated. Request immediate evacuation from this system." Vextar activated his emergency transmitter, sending a message that would travel faster than light to reach other Dominion Alliance forces. His voice was hollow with defeat and disbelief. "This is Commander Vextar of the former Conquest fleet. The human system is to be avoided at all costs. We have suffered total defeat. The humans possess technology that can turn our own systems against us. They are not the primitive species we believe them to be. Repeat, avoid the human system. They are far more dangerous than they appear." He paused, looking down at the blue planet that had just destroyed the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, using nothing more than a radio signal. Personal note to High Command. We made a fatal error. We assumed their military leaders and politicians represented their greatest minds. We were wrong. They're quiet ones, the ones who listen and learn while others talk and boast. They are the ones to fear. End transmission. On Earth, the cleanup had already begun. Military satellites tracked every piece of debris larger than a car, calculating impact zones and warning aircraft to avoid certain areas. Most of the alien wreckage would burn up harmlessly in Earth's atmosphere, but some larger pieces would need to be recovered for study. General Sullivan stood in her command center, still hardly believing what she had witnessed. "Colonel Peterson, I want a full report on what just happened. How did we go from certain defeat to total victory in less than an hour?" "Ma'am, we're still investigating, but it appears the attack originated from a small research facility in Montana. A civilian scientist named Dr. Alex Carter transmitted some kind of interference signal that caused cascading system failures throughout the alien fleet." "One scientist? With what kind of weapon?" "That's just it, ma'am. According to our analysis, it wasn't really a weapon at all. He used a quantum resonance device designed for deep space communication. The power output was minimal, but the frequency was apparently perfect for disrupting their interconnected systems." General Sullivan shook her head in amazement. "Get me a helicopter to Montana. I want to meet this Dr. Carter personally." Alex Carter was finally asleep when the helicopters arrived. Lisa woke him gently, pointing out the window at the military aircraft landing near their research station. "Alex, I think you have visitors." Alex stretched and yawned, looking out at the growing crowd of officials, scientists, and reporters gathering outside his lab. "I suppose word got out about what happened?" "The whole world knows, Alex. You're the man who saved humanity. I'm the man who found a weakness in their technology, Alex corrected. Anyone with the right equipment and enough time could have done the same thing. But Lisa knew better. It had taken a unique combination of patience, intelligence, and unconventional thinking to find the solution that everyone else had missed. While world leaders panicked and military forces prepared for hopeless battles, Alex had quietly listened to the enemy and discovered how to turn their greatest strength into their greatest weakness. General Sullivan was the first to enter the lab. She looked around at the modest equipment and computer screens, hardly believing that this simple facility had accomplished what all the world's armies could not. Dr. Carter, I'm General Kate Sullivan. On behalf of the United States military and the entire human race, I want to thank you for what you've done. Alex stood up from his chair, still looking slightly embarrassed by all the attention. I just did what any scientist would do, General. I observed the problem and looked for a solution. What you did was find a way to defeat technology that was thousands of years ahead of our own. How? Their technology wasn't better because it was more complex, Alex explained. It was better because it was more integrated. Every system worked perfectly with every other system. But that integration was also their weakness. Once I found the right frequency to disrupt their quantum network, their own advanced systems did the rest of the work. General Sullivan studied the quiet man who had changed the course of human history. Dr. Carter, would you be willing to work with our military scientists? We need to understand what just happened and prepare for the possibility that more aliens might come looking for revenge. I'll help however I can, Alex agreed. But I think you might be surprised by what we learn from the survivors. Over the following days, interrogations of the captured aliens revealed information that changed humanity's understanding of the galaxy. The Dominion Alliance was not just one species, but a coalition of dozens of different worlds that had been conquered over thousands of years. Many of the alien soldiers had originally been enslaved themselves before being forced to serve in the conquest fleets. More importantly, the aliens brought word that other species throughout the galaxy had been looking for a way to resist the Dominion Alliance. The news of Earth's victory spread quickly through secret communication networks, inspiring rebellions on dozens of conquered worlds. The humans have shown that the Dominion can be defeated, whispered one alien prisoner during his interrogation. Their fleet commanders are terrified. They're pulling back from expansion and trying to figure out how one primitive world destroyed their most powerful armada. Alex Carter found himself at the center of a galactic revolution he had never intended to start. Scientists from around the world studied his quantum resonance device, trying to understand the principles behind his victory. Military leaders wanted him to design weapons based on his discovery. But Alex had other ideas. Using the alien technology recovered from the wreckage, he began working on a new project, a deep space communication array that could reach other civilizations across the galaxy. Lisa, help me with these calculations, Alex said, working at his computer late one night. If we can establish peaceful contact with other species, maybe we can end the age of galactic conquest permanently. You want to talk to more aliens? After what just happened? The aliens who attacked us were conquerors, not representatives of their entire species. There must be others out there who believe in peace instead of domination. We need to find them and work together. Within months, Alex's new communication array began receiving responses from distant worlds. Species that had hidden from the Dominion Alliance for centuries were eager to make contact with the humans who had proven that the seemingly invincible conquerors could be defeated. The galaxy began to change. Rebellions succeeded on worlds that had been enslaved for generations. Trade networks developed between free species. The age of expansion through conquest slowly gave way to an era of cooperation and mutual benefit. Alex Carter never sought fame or recognition for his role in these changes. He returned to his quiet research, working to solve new problems and answer new questions. But throughout the galaxy, his name became a symbol of hope for the oppressed and a warning to those who believed that might made right. The quiet human who had listened while others talked, who had found solutions while others despaired, had accidentally started a revolution that would reshape the entire galaxy. And it all began with a simple radio signal from a small research station in Montana, proving that sometimes the most powerful weapons are wielded not by the loudest voices, but by the most thoughtful minds.